Hello, YouTube streets. I am Zayba, a controversial intellectual that likes to get down to the bottom of that T. Do I ruffle feathers? Do I cause a problem sometimes? Am I willing to go down to the bottom of the barrel to get that T? Hell yes. All in all, I am Zayba, and I said that.
Hello everyone, I am Zayba. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing with you guys what you should consider when you're going to decide to get a BBL, especially in Miami and specifically in Miami. Things that I didn't pay attention to and things that I didn't notice because I was so excited. I was inexperienced with surgery and I didn't really know what to expect. So I kind of made a few errors and I wish I would have known. So because I didn't have somebody like me, I didn't have a me, but you have a me, and I'm going to explain to you why you should be looking out for these following different things. And number one that I noticed is having a thorough plan. You should have somebody going with you if you can have someone going with you. It is possible to make it on your own, and that will be a side note because I did my round 2 alone. I did my round 1 with my sister. Today we're talking about round 1, so I'm going to talk about the mistakes that I made when I got my first round 1 BBL. Okay, so mistake number 1 was booking an Airbnb. Now, I know that Airbnb can be okay, and I know many of dolls that have gone out and rented an Airbnb instead of doing a hotel. I'm going to point out different reasons why I feel, in my opinion and in my experience, a hotel was better for me than an Airbnb. Okay, so I did an Airbnb, and mind you, I had never been to Miami before in my life, so I didn't really know what areas were safe. I didn't know what areas were considered the hood. I didn't know, I wasn't even really experienced with Airbnb that much either. I think I had stayed at Airbnb 3 times at that point in my life, and so I didn't know what to expect. I just booked. I liked the price, I liked the photos, and I just booked. It was a matter of fact, it was an auto book. It was a self-book, self-check-in, all of that. So when I arrived to Miami, my sister and I it was a short flight because, you know, Miami from Atlanta was like I think less than an hour or an hour, whatever it was. It wasn't very long. So we get there and we go immediately from the airport to the Airbnb. Now we came a little bit early because I think check-in was at 3 and we came around 2:30ish, and they told me, the host that is, told me that things weren't ready just yet. So I arrived and I looked around and I immediately was noticing right when have you ever pulled up on an area in an Airbnb, not an Airbnb, but in an Uber, and you look around and it's like, what kind of neighborhood am I in? What's going on here? Like, what's the tea? Like, I don't know about this. I was looking around. It was looking very sketchy. Okay? Real sketchy. So I pull up there and I'm just like, okay, let's just give it a chance. Maybe, the inside is cool, because at this point I already have paid and I'm just like, I'm here now. Let's just go ahead and get this over with. I'm here for surgery. I'm not here to be living in luxury anyway. So I get inside and on my way to the door, there is I'm not going to say that. There is drug paraphernalia just laying out and about. I proceed anyway. I go inside because I'm just like, I'm curious. I just have to see the rest of it and see if it's what I call work-wittable. If it was work-wittable, I was going to work with it. But if it was not work-wittable, I was going to have to consider other alternatives at that point. So I get inside, I open up the door, and first of all, I'm just hit by, this aroma of dust, dirt, and everything else. And I get in there, and oh my God, I don't know what the person before me had been doing, but there were pizza boxes, there was trash, there were flies flying around. The couch where I was supposed to be laying down and sleeping majority of the time was so dingy and so dirty that I couldn't even imagine myself getting into that, much less getting into it after surgery. So that's a big reason, and that's actually a risk factor when you're getting surgery, is making sure that wherever you're staying is as sanitary as possible, because we know that nothing is going to be 100% sanitized, but you have to get as sanitary as possible, considering that you're having a serious surgery. You're going to have all types of open wounds and everything. So I go further. I go into the kitchen. There are more pizza boxes. I don't know, that person who was in there, that duck plucker, loved them some pizza, because it was pizza boxes, Domino's specifically. Domino's pizza boxes galore and everywhere. I don't know what was going on there, but Domino's and beer. The refrigerator was full of all types of stuff, and I was just like, I immediately go into panic mode, because I'm just like, there's no way that I could stay here. It was just not going to be possible, not going to work out for me. So my sister is walking beside me. Y'all know my sister, and we're looking at each other like, what the hell are we going to do? So we go further in, and everybody knows how I am. I went to the bathroom, because I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. Well, what the bathroom looking like? So I go into that bathroom. Oh my God. I go into the bathroom. It's not clean, but that's one thing. The person who was there before, they just urinated into the toilet and never flushed. That was disgusting. And then I look, and it was one of those toilet seats where it was one of those toilet seats where it was like shifted off. And I'm just like, look, I'm going to go get my butt done. The last thing I want to worry about is where I'm going to be sitting and how I'm going to be sitting on a toilet seat. A toilet seat that's shaking. I'm not trying to worry about that when I'm having surgery and I'm looking around. It's not clean. It's not looking up to par. The decorations are terrible. It's tacky. It's dirty in there. There's flies and everything. Sanitation. Like, I couldn't get past that. I just couldn't get past it. So I'm in my phone, and I'm just texting Airbnb, because I'm just like, the reason that I gave for Airbnb that I didn't want to be there, it was really ultimately the area and all the other things considered. But I gave them the reason that, there was drug paraphernalia and we just didn't feel comfortable, which was true. But there were several reasons. I only used one. Because I just wanted to get out of there. Now, mind you guys, I didn't know the refund policy or whatever the policy was for Airbnb, and I really didn't care at that point, because what I did was I booked the hotel. I believe at that point I booked it using some of my Priority Club points, or my sister put it on her credit card, or a combination of both. I think it might have been a combination of both, some points and then some of my sister paying for it, and then they refunded me the money back to my debit card a couple of days later. But we were comfortable. We actually ended up booking the Candlewood Suites there in Miami. This will be a perfect time to plug the location, but look it up, you guys. If you're going to Miami, look it up. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and direct message me, and I can tell you which one I stayed at, because it was superb. I really enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people that were in the surgery group that I'm a part of, they said that they were discouraged to go to hotels because hotels were not allowing dolls to go in there who have had surgery. That was a lie. It was a lie. It was not true. You actually are able to go get it. Nobody questioned me. Nobody was wondering anything. Maybe it's different male to female. Maybe they know. I don't know. But maybe they didn't think I was getting surgery, or maybe I didn't seem like I was getting surgery because I handled myself so well. So I went and I booked Candlewood Suites, and that's something to look out for. They say that that's a really easy way to get an infection. Also, another thing that I've come to realization about today is that a lot of doctors are no longer recommending that you ride fresh out of surgery on your stomach on the back seat of the car. And that's what I did when I was brought from surgery and I was wheeled out from surgery. Now, I mentioned in the other video, you guys, that I was really extremely cold, and I was cold, and I remember opening my eyes, and the first person that I saw was Dr. Meridian, and that was not the doctor who operated on me, but I saw him. He was looking really handsome, and smelling really good. You could smell the cologne all the way across the room. And I just woke up and I was just shivering, and I was just ready to go. I didn't even want to wait the 15 minutes that they have you wait to make sure that you're stabilized and everything. I didn't want to wait. I was ready to go. Nurse Shani was on call. So And shout out to Nurse Shawnee, love you, girl. She has been a nurse to Hazel E. She was a nurse to me and many, many other people. She is popping out there in Miami, and that's my girl. That's my girl. She really did me right. Really was there for me. Was checking up on me every time. Even when I got back, she even checked up on me when I didn't even hire her. So that's my girl. But shout out to Nurse Shawnee. She was out there waiting for me, and they let me go. Now, when they wheeled me out, and Nurse Shawnee had her representative come to pick me up, and we'll get to that. She came to pick me up, and she had a big enough car. Now, mind you guys, I'm a very tall guy. I'm 6'3", so it was big enough, but I had to like fold my legs on my stomach. Which, looking back on it now, is really scary because a lot of people have passed away from not being in a seatbelt. So now doctors are recommending that you ride sitting upwards with some type of support pillow and with your seatbelt on. But I guess we were thugging it back in the early days because they didn't recommend for me to do that. I didn't get a recommendation for that. And I probably wouldn't have wanted to because I was just like down with the cause. I just did not want to sit down, and I was so strict about sitting down, so strict, especially my round 1. Round 2, I got a little bit, a little more lax about it. I was sitting back a little bit more, but this time on the round 1, I wasn't about to sit down for nothing. So, we get to the hotel, and there is an issue with my medication. She asked me for the money for, I believe she wanted my debit card or cash, and she went to go pick up the medicine, and she just took a really long time. She comes back, brings me the medicine, and then it was a discrepancy with this lady with the amount of money that was supposed to be given, and I found out that happens a lot with when people have third parties getting involved, and it's not the same exact one that you booked with. There's a lot of confusion. That's why I said in my previous video that get it all together and make sure that you're going to be with the person that you want to be with, the time that you want to be with them, and make sure that they're going to be there. Be careful who you select. Be careful who you select. And it's funny because the lady that came to pick me up was throwing shade at Nurse Shawnee, throwing lots of shade, saying that, she was doing this as a favor to her and that she doesn't normally like to work with her or any others, and to also be careful because I was considering to do that line of work in the future for myself to, help other dolls. And she was like, well, just be careful, trying to give me warnings and everything. Just messy. So be careful on who you decide to bring in on that, because surgery is a very sensitive period. You have to really you don't want to be bothered with the excess drama when you're trying to heal. You're trying to get yourself back on track and get back to normal. You don't need the extra headache. So that's another thing to consider. Something also to consider is stay the amount of days that the doctors tell you to stay. Don't try to leave early. It's not my recommendation because they have you sign some paperwork that says that if you leave early and there are any complications, that it will be on you. You will not be able to take any type of action, whether that be going back to get a revision for free or whether that be suing, depending on how bad things get. You never know. The liability is then in your hands, and you are breaching your contract that you have with them. So read that thick pack of papers that they have you sign while you're in the waiting room right before you go to get your surgery. They will have you sign this big, thick pack, and you really do need to read that thick, big pack of paperwork because it pretty much sums up a lot of things that you may have questioned in your head. But a lot of people go in and they think like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I don't need to really pay attention to this. Please read that stuff. Read the information because it's really important. And the doctors read it. They know it like the back of their hand because they have people sign this stuff every day. So, Faha. The Faha that they had me in was through a company called Medical Supply Company or something. They no longer are associated with Avana Plastic Surgery any longer. You have to bring your own Fahas, etc. I learned that when I came back for a tummy tuck. So, but I really liked it. It was not custom. I woke up in the faja. They put it on me, and I had the faja on already, and it was cut in the genital area because they didn't have a specific faja for men. So shout out to my tributo fajas for actually making male tailored fajas, because we do represent a good majority of plastic surgery patients. We're out here, we out here. We really do get our surgeries, and we need different things, different products that are tailored just for us. I don't like wearing a women's faja. I've worn many of them. They're not the most comfortable. And shout out to Viviana at my tributo for asking for my input when she brought me on board, and asking for my input about different products that they have. And I still have some input about the products that I did receive from you guys, and I will review. I have on my faja right now. This is the same faja, one of the many fajas that you guys gave to me, and it's still doing its job, even on my round 2. So I appreciate you guys, and shout out to you guys for that. What else would I like to touch on when it comes to round 1? Round 1. I said in the other video that I like Dr. Dress, and the reason that I like Dr. Dress is a little bit messy, because when I was getting my body marked up and when I was waiting for Dr. Mamaniskis to come back to complete the rest of my surgery, my pre-op, the rest of my pre-op appointment, I guess the appointment right before surgery, I overheard a conversation that the doctor was having with one of his patients, and she was like coming in there, and she was like, "I'm ready. I had 2 rounds in Colombia," and she was a Colombian woman, and she came in bragging like, "I had 2 rounds," and he was like, "I don't think that you can do another round," and she's like, "I don't want a big balloon. I don't want a big balloon." She was really upset that he was being honest with her, and that's the reason why I said I liked him, because he was being honest. He wasn't about the dollar. He was just being honest with her and explaining to her that, hey, you had 2 different rounds, you have scar tissue, and you don't have much fat. I don't think that I can produce the results that you would be expecting. So shout out to Dr. Dress for keeping it real. You weren't trying to, but she wanted to just throw her money away. She just wanted to just do like that and just throw her money away. So she just really wanted, she wasn't trying to hear it. She was upset. You could hear the tone of her voice change. Everything changed with her. And I was just sitting back, no shade. I was sitting back like, I was getting a little laugh, like, because it wasn't me. It was like, glad it wasn't me, because I'm getting my surgery. I'm getting mine. I had 1 round. So I wasn't going to get put out, no. So that was a little side note of why I liked him and how I enjoyed hearing his honesty. And I was just like, you know what, if I did have another doctor besides Dr. Mamaniskis, Dr. Dress would be the one. So that's the reason why I liked him. What else about round 1 did I forget to mention? Okay, you guys, those Bobby pillows, those BBL pillows, and the plane ride back. The plane ride back was really hurting me. Having to sit up, it's like a squat position when you're sitting at the right way on a BBL pillow, and on a flight that's moving around and everything. I was in first class, the first set of seats, and even that wasn't enough for me. I'm a bigger guy. I was not able to fit. Some people will get on their knees and they like kind of straddle or hold on to the seat. I am too big for that. I'm 6'3". I was just too big to fit and to do any of that. So I had to sit down correctly. Even still, the staff on the airline staff would not allow me to do any other position besides sitting down. And they also said that when I took off, I had to remove the pillow and then I had to put it back on later. So I was really worried about that. It would seem like the longest flight ever, even though I knew it wasn't. It was just as long as when I came, but riding it back was really hard. So that plane ride was something else, and I remember it felt like I felt such a burn in my butt and my muscles just holding myself up. It was really hard to do, and I put myself through it for a second time. I was just thinking about it, just like, wow. But yeah, that was hard to do, the plane ride back. was really intense, and that was crazy. The massages are really important. I did a lot of my massages myself, and it seemed like it turned out well. I did the little rollers and everything, but what I would recommend is just get a certified lymphatic massage specialist. Get a certified person to do your massages. Don't have your baby daddy, don't have your husband, your man, your son, don't have anybody do any of that for you. You need to have somebody to really take care of it so that you don't make yourself lumpy bumpy and appear to be blotched or blotched, for the people that don't know how to say it. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing and pay attention to your surgery. Side note, I want to talk about what to expect, or what I learned to expect from people when they hear that you have surgery. A lot of people are haters, you guys. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm natural, I'm this and that. I don't think they really care about whether or not we are natural. I think they just feel like they think they're counting your pockets. That's number one. They count your pockets and how much you spent for it. Oh, you got this much money to do this and do that. And then there are people who they really are envious and they want to do it for themselves, but they just cannot or have not. And so that they hate on you for making this decision to elect and do some elective surgery. And then there are people who they don't really care. They just want to have something to say, or they feel like the way to clap back at you is to be like, well, that ain't your natural body anyway. There's a lot of people like that. And so I would say be prepared for that. You have to have a thick skin when you're making a decision to do something for you, but make sure that it's for you, because a lot of people go and get these BBLs and stuff to impress a man or keep a boyfriend, and ultimately that's not going to keep them there. It's not about that. It's not about that. So yeah. Those are the different things that I would pay attention to, and I just wanted to add these different things into my other video. I will make another video about round 2 and get into the tummy tuck that I had with Dr. Sherlock, and I will talk to you guys about why did he leave Ivana, and where is he going, and the shady post on Instagram and stuff like that, and my opinions about him as a doctor and my experience that I had with him when he did my HD abs and my tummy tuck. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that on the next video. Please make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. There are memberships available, $1.99 for the silver and $6.99 for the gold. If you can afford to do that, that's cool. If you can't, please just subscribe. That's totally free, and hit the thumbs up button if you can and if you don't mind, because that's also free and that also will help my videos. Go back and watch some of my previous videos. I am an American here living in the Philippines, and it's quite interesting. Go back and watch some of the videos where I have shopped for my first time here in Manila, my first night here in this apartment in Manila, and also going to the mall in Manila, and a few other things are going to be coming in the future. So just watch out for that. Keep it on lock, and like always, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you guys on the next live video or the next uploaded video. See you guys.